Hi, I'm sorry I couldn't come in today, but I wanted to go over what I would have gone over in class and do a little mini lecture via video. And I'll do my best to get through it. The main thing we want to talk about for today is the idea of coherence, and that's um, I'll review that a little bit. We're not going to do the reading quiz today, clearly, but we will then do it on Thursday instead. So sorry about the delays on that. So for coherence, I first have this little paragraph here, and there's a lot of problems that a lot of things are missing and it does not cohere. And so in class, I would ask everyone to read it and to find out what's missing with it. So it says, for me, the worst thing about waiting tables was the uniform. All the waitresses had to wear the ugly brown striped jumper. The shirts were polyester. Sometimes someone I knew would come in. Now I have a job in an office. Now, when you read this, you kind of can tell, okay, the person's talking about waiting tables and they don't like the uniform and they describe it a little bit. But then the jump to people coming in, and we think that's still the restaurant, and now I have a job in an office, but then that kind of goes off topic or doesn't have enough information. And so if you were to see the revision here, you can see what has changed. And here are the differences next to each other. And so the items that are in black are the added items that make the difference, that make it cohere. So if you were to reread it, for me, the worst thing about waiting tables was the uniform at the last place I worked, and that gives us context, right? So, which adds to the coherence. All the waitresses had to wear ugly brown striped jumper. Underneath it, we had to wear even uglier polyester shirt, gives more detail. And sometimes someone I knew would come in and I would feel embarrassed. So then we get the reaction of why that was important that someone came in. And then they have a time sequence change here. Now I have a job in an office where I can wear my own clothes. So these are small things, but they actually make a huge difference for your reader. And so on the next essay we're going to do, I want you to work on coherence, like getting things to like stick or to come together. The word actually coherence comes from com, which means together, and hair to mean to stick. And so you want this idea that your ideas stick together, but they also move smoothly from one point to the next. You create a sense of unity. And so your audience can relax and listen to the content of what you have to say and not be kind of struggling with the structure of what you're saying or worrying about like maybe they missed something if they can't understand the flow. Okay, so how do you get coherence? So these are the main 5 areas that create coherence, and I'm going to go over each one. The first one are ordering principles, and these you kind of probably use without realizing what they are. You might use chronology, like you might say first, next, then finally, kind of something like that. You might show contrast in a paragraph or in an essay to show like contrast words or in addition or cause and effect. You might also show location or geography as a way to kind of talk and organize a paragraph or an essay even. Another way, there's ordering principles, but then there's pronouns and antecedents. So pronouns, which we know are things like, she, he, we, I. And then antecedents are the thing that comes, ante means before, and it's the noun that comes before the pronoun so that we understand what's being said. So I took a paragraph from Coates here, and I took out all of the antecedents. And so you see all of these, she, right? She read these words for them, and when she finished, she turned to the subject of my body, although she did not mention it specifically. So you recognize this from the beginning sections of the pages. If you see now the antecedents are there, and the pronouns are replaced with the antecedents, it makes it much more clear. So if you, especially when you're talking about more than one person and of the same gender, it can become really tricky to keep track of who's speaking and who are you referring to. So it's really important that you get your antecedents in there. So that's a second way to create coherence. It's ordering principles, pronouns, and antecedents. Another way is to combine your sentences through coordinating conjunctions or dependent clauses. Here's a sentence from Coates as well, and I took out the combining words in the first one, and then the second one I put them back in, and you can kind of see it almost changes the meaning of the sentences. Gulags are Russian prisons, and pretty desperate, abusive ones that were used in the past. But you can kind of see how different it is without those connecting words. And finally, not finally, but one of the other ways is integrating transition words. And if you think about these, any of them in this first column are when you want to kind of show a concession a bit. You could say it's true that this has happened. It's true that many immigrants come to this country and do find better opportunities than in other countries. However, the opportunities they find are here because of our past with slavery and its oppression of African Americans. Therefore, the dream maybe should be questioned or reconsidered in some way. That those 3 steps I just took, that it's true that, however, therefore, or they're the same as any of these other in the list. That's a nice way to create coherence when you're trying to acknowledge something but then disagree and then show why you believe something to be true. So you might be using this a lot when you're talking about quotes. So I wanted to give you this structural sort of thing to work on. If we were in class, what I was going to have you do, I might still have you, I'll have you work with this one in class when we come back on Thursday. Another way is repetition. I just took a paragraph from quotes and look at how many times the word dream or the word body or know and knowing or sad are repeated. And why this is important is it creates rhythm. It creates a sentence of highlighting the important points or words or terms, and it creates a pacing that's appealing to the ear. It's used a lot in speeches, but it can also be used in writing. So you can create coherence by using some repetition. Okay, and so this is the exercise we're going to do later, but I'm going to have you do where I give you a topic sentence, and then in groups we create paragraphs. So we're going to do this later. So that was mainly the thing I wanted to show you. Then we were going to take a break. Then we're going to take the quiz. Okay, so I'm sorry that I missed you, and I'm still feeling so sick. I think if I rest another day, I'll be all right. I'm on antibiotics now and stuff, so it's a little bit better. And I've never missed this much school, so it's a little hard for me. But so just know I'm still working on a lot of your stuff, and and I'm looking. Oh, if you haven't done the online thesis statement, please do it. It's worth points, and so it'd be a really good thing for you to participate in and get some more points. I can give you feedback. I've given a lot of people feedback already, so do the online one before you turn in the final draft of the thesis and outline, okay? And if you need some more time on the thesis outline and you've already turned it in, you can resubmit it and work on it more if you want, or you can just turn it in, okay? So I'm a little loose right now on due dates just because I've been sick, and if I'm not there, I don't expect you to necessarily keep up with things exactly the same way. So I need to be able to give you the support. If you have questions, please let me know. You can email or text. I'm just going to be home getting better, and I will talk to you soon. Oh, and today there is actually right now there's a talk by my friend Dr. Gaines in the Hearthside Lounge from 10 to 12:30. You can walk in late if you want. And he's going to talk about African Americans and Latinos in building California and also beyond. And they're going to show a quick film, a little clip of it, where they talk about African Americans in places like Mexico and Peru. Not African Americans, but Africans in Mexico and Peru, and sort of the impact on the culture. All right. I miss you all, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.